In discussing and contemplating the synthetic field map or history of the senses, we can begin to appreciate the psychological complexities involved in the bewildering process known as human history. Yet, we are not separate from nature. The intricate structures and processes of our neurophysiological system and the environment it creates may be understood holonomically as yet another expression of the most primary dynamic, the crossover polarity. Genetically, this polarity manifests in the double helix. Historically, the crossover polarity may be referred to as the psychogenetic feedback loop. Just as the maker of history, man, is a biopsychic organism, so is the psychogenetic feedback loop has its roots in the DNA double helix pattern itself. The two strands form the double helix are information processors. The one is referred to as the AC, Aboriginal Continuity Current, the other the CA, Civilization Advance Current. To the AC current correspond initiate psychomental forms, the internal sensation, and the sense organs themselves. To the CA current belong the cumulative cultural forms and eventuality, the civilizational sense field inclusive of the planetary environment. Psychogenetic feedback refers to the continuous interchange between the biologically innate and the increasingly elaborate psychocultural factors. In the total psychogenetic feedback loop, there are three factors. 1. The innate psychosensory system itself. 2. The creation of culture or the psychocultural environment as the expression of the different sense organs. And 3. The continuous impact of the artificial psychocultural environment upon the psychosensory system. The totality of this process, situation, is what is usually called history. From the psychosensory perspective, history is also a threefold process. First of all, there is the stage of biopsychic emergence, characterized by the aboriginal synthesia of prehistory. The second stage, history proper, characterized by the psychosensory elaboration, is also the stage of hominization of the planet, i.e., the radiation of man across the planet. The third stage, that of the planetarization of human consciousness, quote, returns, end of quote, to a post-historic synthesia. Graphically, history is the loop between two stages of synthesia unity. What is true at the historic level, i.e., at the level of the collective transformation of the total organism man, is also true at the individual level. That is, through the process of growth, each of us emerge from a condition of synthetic unity, the womb and early childhood, into a stage of expansion, growth, and experimentation, in which we are tested and formed only to return at last to a more highly synthesized condition of fulfillment and realization. At least this is the model presented to us by our innate holonomic patterning. As shall become more evident, the quote-unquote problem of history is that the total psychogenetic feedback process tends to increasingly to prevent or short-circuit the individual, and hence the collective organism itself, from attaining that full level of realization. Belief systems become hardened into ideologies that are attempts at standardizing the psychosensory reaction through controlled psychogenetic feedback. Once the overall process of history has been engendered through full activation of the CA current, the phenomena of the psychosensory elaboration is set in motion, a process that cannot be fully comprehended and transformed until complete harmonization has occurred. Thus, history becomes the record of human organism increasing reliance on an artificial cultural conditioning, independent of an innate and natural environmental factor. So we see that what begins as a process of knowledge through attunement becomes, through the relentless transformation of the psychogenetic feedback loop, a dense atmosphere of psychosensory elaboration. Yet, as with art and healing, knowing how something has been done, it can be undone, and all elements be fashioned anew into a creation of radiance and beauty.